Do you want to make money with the newest technology? Do you want to make money with cryptocurrency, or do you want to be part of the Web3 and engage yourself in Web3? Well, you can't do any of this if you really don't know what cryptocurrencies are, or you really don't know what Bitcoin is. And guess what? In today's section, we are going to really learn about cryptocurrency. We are going to learn about what Bitcoin is, and we are going to be doing the fundamentals so that you be going to the industry that you really know. So even if you're a beginner or this, I just want to waste time. Let's jump into today's section and we see what Bitcoin and what cryptocurrencies are. So today we are going to be looking at introduction to cryptocurrencies, and today we want to actually, before the end of this introduction, we expect that you learn these three things. You need to learn these three things. The first, you need to learn what is cryptocurrency and exactly understand why cryptocurrencies are really important. The second thing you're going to be knowing what Bitcoin is and how Bitcoin came into play, what is the problem that Bitcoin is really solving. And finally, you're going to be knowing how to earn Bitcoin and therefore how you can make money with Bitcoin or with cryptocurrency. So let's jump into today's section immediately without wasting a lot of time. So what is cryptocurrencies? Now, cryptocurrency is divided into two terms. The first time, cryptocurrency is divided into two. There are two words that really form cryptocurrency. The first word is called crypto. Crypto was divided into, the first word is crypto and the second word is currency. But the word crypto comes from a word cryptography. The word crypto comes from the word cryptography. Therefore, cryptography is the art of writing, of solving codes. Cryptography is a term that is picked from software engineering. Yeah, software engineering, of course, that is people who do coding and people who do all these. They are not complicated, but of course, if you don't know it, they are complicated. So they do coding. Now, cryptography is the way of writing code that is very hard to decipher or very hard to hack. I know you are comfortable with the hacking, so there is a way you can write codes that are very hard to hack or very hard to decipher. So when they are very hard to crack, that way of writing code is called cryptography. So that is the first word that cryptocurrency is picked from. Then cryptocurrency, the next word, the first word is crypto, the next word is currency. So what is currency? Now, currency is a system of money. Currency is just a money that is generally accepted and being used by people. So something that is used for exchange, it is called currency. Now, what means cryptocurrency is money, is actually a code that is being used as currency. It means this is technology. This is actually developed technology, and this is a computer science technology, and this is this is the new revolution that we are going to be looking at. Now, when we talk about cryptocurrencies started in 2008, and it started by someone called Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, I need to tell you this, that Satoshi Nakamoto, no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Either Satoshi Nakamoto is an individual who was a male or female, probably a male, or else Satoshi Nakamoto was a group of people, a company that formed cryptocurrencies. No one can really tell that, but all we know is someone called Satoshi Nakamoto published a paper on the internet, and that was called the Bitcoin white paper. That I feel like you should go to the internet, type the Bitcoin white paper, get that paper. It is 9 pages. You can try to read out what he or she published or what they published. After publishing that, in 2009, our cryptocurrency was launched, and the main cryptocurrency that was launched is called Bitcoin. So this is the first cryptocurrency that was launched, and guess what? It's what we are going to look at today, and it's what we are going to really try to understand. So what Bitcoin is what we are going to be looking at, and I hope you have understood what cryptocurrencies are, because cryptocurrencies, it is just a form of money that has been coded, and it is coded in a way that it is very hard to hack or to deceive. So let's get to what is this Bitcoin. When you're talking about that Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, it means whenever you're talking about cryptocurrency, you're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, and Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a paper that was called the Bitcoin white paper and uploaded it on the internet, and that's how we got to access, or that's how the world got to know what cryptocurrencies were. And that was 2008, 2009, and then that was the development, or that was the beginning of Bitcoin. So what is this Bitcoin? And so it means you understand why every time people are talking about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin comes next. Why? Because it was the first the first cryptocurrency that was formed, and up to today it is the biggest cryptocurrency that is there. So is Bitcoin the future? Now, for you to understand if Bitcoin is the future, or you should get engaged in Bitcoin or not, you really need to understand the history of money. Some people really don't understand what money is, the history of money. So before we really look into, we answer the question, is Bitcoin the future? Every time someone asks you about Bitcoin, or you want to explain about Bitcoin, if someone should understand the history of money, so that that person can understand the future. You cannot tell the future if you don't know the history. So let's first go and look into the history of money. So the first thing that we did, in old age, when money was coming to play, before money was there was a time that people used what we call barter trade. Now, barter trade, for those who don't know, it was exchange of goods for goods. For example, if you wanted to buy a cow, if you wanted a cow and then you have land, you can give your land to someone, then that person will give you a cow. So they said the white men, when they came to Africa, they wanted land, and then they came with suits. Africans were seeing suits were nice. They would give a suit and someone gives a piece of land. Some they will give salt and then someone gives a piece of land. So that's how barter trade was. Now the problem with barter trade was that barter trade had no proper exchange of value, that things were not equally valued with a proper standardization of value. Now that's it. The problem was solved by introduction of gold. I want you to follow this sequence well. The first system had a problem, no proper value exchange. Now gold came to solve that. So people had to get some standardization or measure of value. How do they measure value? So someone, you can go to the market and you say you are selling this thing at 1 kg of gold, you are selling it at 2 kg of gold. You understand? So people had something they could measure their value with. But gold came with a very big problem. And what was that problem that gold came with? Gold became too heavy. Now imagine you are going to buy a very big piece of land, or you are going to buy cows, yeah? You're going to buy cows, and then they tell you that you are supposed to bring 100 kgs of gold or 1000 kgs of gold. You can imagine how many people you need to carry that gold. You can imagine how many people, if you're going to take 1000 or 10,000 kgs of gold, because that's what you really want to buy, you can imagine what you are going to collect and how heavy it is going to be. So that was the problem with gold. Now remember, every time there is a problem, there comes a solution, and every time a change is going to come, that change comes to solve a previous problem. So we saw that gold solved a problem of a proper exchange of value, but it also came with its own problem, and its problem was gold was heavy. So gold was substituted by cash. Now this was the development. This is the stage that I want you to really understand. How did cash come into when there was gold? Now remember, gold was a standardization of money. It means money was gold. Gold was like the first standardized money. But now gold, how did gold become cash, or how was cash introduced? So this is what we are going to really explain right now. Now cash was introduced like this. People were using gold and gold became heavy. So the government or people who were ruling that time, they told people that, you know what, you be bringing your gold to us. When you bring your gold to us, we are going to be giving you a piece of paper that shows that you have your gold with us. You understand? You bring your gold, and then the government, you take your gold to the government, and then the government gives you a piece of paper that shows that you have 1 kg of gold. For example, if you bring your gold to me that you have 1 kg of gold, and I'm the government, I write for you a paper that, you know, you have given your gold to me. So when you go to the market to buy sugar, and the person is selling sugar at 1 kg of gold, you just give that paper to that person and tell that person, I have my 1 kg of gold, but it was heavy for me to bring it here. It is with so and so. You can go and get it at any time. So that paper was recognized by anyone, that even the person selling sugar can go to the person selling shop and give that paper and tell him, you are selling it at 1 kg of gold. Yes, gold is heavy. I kept my gold with this person. You can go and pick it at any time. So people became used with that paper money. But remember, the paper was not money. The money was gold. paper was being backed up by gold. It means every time you take gold to the government, you take gold to the people, and those people that you have taken gold to, they are going to give you money. They are going to give you a piece of paper that represents that exact amount of gold you have taken. If you have taken, for example, 10 kgs of gold, they are going to give you a paper that represents 10 kg of gold. Therefore, that was called the gold standard. That is money that is being backed up by gold, and that is the age where banks were developed. Banks were not there before that age. So banks were the ones that were doing the job of collecting gold, keeping the gold, and giving out that cash, giving out that piece of paper. And that piece of paper is what we are calling money today, is what we are calling fiat money. How did it become fiat? I want to explain that quickly, because if you really understand this part, you're going to be able to understand what Bitcoin is and what is the future of finance is going to be. So people became used to this paper, that they are just exchanging paper. They are not going back to the bank to pick their gold. They are not going back to where they kept their gold. Now it reached a time when the government itself, the person who is in control of the gold, they need money to. Now that one happened in 2008 crash, when before even 2008, that in World War II, they needed a lot of money to go and fight wars. They needed a lot of money for war, but now they didn't have enough gold to print the amount of money that they had. So what they did, they had to take the gold standard off. That it was, they couldn't print any money, because money was gold. You bring gold and then they print money. So they couldn't print more money because they didn't have the gold. What they did, they took away the gold standard, because they were the ones who decide that. So it means they are the ones in control. So they took away the gold standard, and after taking away the gold standard, they just demanded people, they just printed money anyhow, and that one caused inflation. Now, what is inflation? Inflation is that when you have more money in the population than the production rate. That's why today you can go, and a piece of land that is 1 million today, after 2 years or by the end of the year, you find that what was 1 million is becoming 5 millions. Why? It's because you have lost purchasing power. That 1 million that you are keeping in the bank, or you are keeping in your house, has lost purchasing power. Why? There is more money in the population. There is more money in the population. As more money comes in the population, you lose purchasing power. So that is called inflation. Now, what is going to solve inflation? We saw that no proper exchange of value was solved by introducing of gold. Gold was heavy, and gold was solved by introducing of cash. But cash has brought a very big problem, that is inflation. So the next money is going to, it has to solve inflation. And what do you think that next money is? So I'm going to leave that question for you to really answer it by yourself, if you understood my explanation. So I just want to go quickly into what is Bitcoin. Now I borrowed this definition of Bitcoin from one of the best investors websites, one of the best investment websites, one of the best legit investment websites on the internet. That is called Investopedia. So Investopedia says Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, a virtual currency designed to act as a money and a form of payment outside the control of any person, group, or entity, and thus removing the need for third-party involvement in the financial transaction. Yeah, now there is what we call the third-party involvement in the financial transaction. For example, if I'm supposed to send money to you, and we're using the bank, I'm supposed to send money to the bank, and the bank is going to send money to you. But with Bitcoin, I can send money to you without any person in the middle, and that's the beauty of Bitcoin. That's what we call without any third party or any middle person, and that is what Bitcoin has come to do. So Bitcoin has removed the third party and has removed control, given back power back to you, who is going to be using it, back to the users. Now, what are the unique properties of Bitcoin that we can really talk about? Now, the unique properties of Bitcoin that we really have: one, Bitcoin is decentralized. It means there is no one in the middle who is really controlling Bitcoin. Now, we said Bitcoin is solving the problem of inflation, and it's solving it by having a property called limited supply. There will only and only ever be 21 million bitcoins in total circulation. Now you need to understand this, that there will only be 21 million bitcoins in total circulation, and by the time of recording this course, bitcoin is around 30,000, 30,000, and there are very many people. Actually, in my village there are less than 100 people who know about bitcoin. Assuming there comes a time when almost half of the world knows about Bitcoin and they are using Bitcoin, how much will Bitcoin be? Because even if the demand increases, there will only be 21 million. It means it is fighting against inflation. There will be no more production of Bitcoins. Therefore, the higher the demand, the more valuable Bitcoin will be. So it has limited supply. And then I love this one, pseudomite. I don't know. This one is that Bitcoin identity is enclosed. Now, in my country, when you receive like 100 millions in your account, when you have never received even 1 million, you can be like a political threat. And the questions they might ask you might include like, where did you get that? Where did you get that money? Who sent you that money? What are you going to use that money? What do you do? Like, you might be a political threat for having all that big money. Now, guess what happens with Bitcoin? Bitcoin, although all the transactions that are happening on Bitcoin, they are recorded on the blockchain. There is no one who identifies that this transaction was done by Jibril, this transaction was not done by Jibril. So that's how Bitcoin transactions are. There is no one who can identify your identity and come and threaten you for having received your money. Of course, it happens in our country. I don't know if in your country it happens, but yeah, it happens now in my country. Now, here we are. We have the another unique property that Bitcoin has, and that is security. Now, we already talked about Bitcoin being coded using cryptography, and cryptography is a way of coding that is very hard to hack. So Bitcoin is very hard to hack. Bitcoin has stayed for more than 14 years and it has not been hacked. So that's what Bitcoin is. Everyone tries to really turn the system down, but because it was really coded with a very strong security, Bitcoin is very hard to really hack. So and the last and most important is global accessibility. Now imagine that if Bitcoin can be accessed in every part of the world, so long as you can access the internet, Bitcoin can be accessed and it can be sent anywhere in the world. You understand? Other than these payment methods that we have that are controlled by banks or governments, you find that this government does not allow sending to this country. This country has much higher expense. This country has much higher charges. But with Bitcoin, you can send anywhere in the world with little to no charge, little to no charge. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. So as we summarize today's class, you need to really understand by this time from today's, you're supposed to really understand what really cryptocurrencies are and why cryptocurrencies are the future, or why Bitcoin is the future. You should understand what is the future of finance. You should be able to tell what Bitcoin is and the unique properties of Bitcoin. But before we close the class, we need to tell you what we had promised before we were going to close. We had promised to talk about how to earn Bitcoin. How to earn Bitcoin. So how can you earn Bitcoin? Now, Bitcoin, because we talked about Bitcoin and we said Bitcoin is the new form of money, you need to understand how are you going to be able to earn Bitcoin. And that's what we are going to be looking at. We are going to be summarize them into only 4 ways. There are many ways you can earn Bitcoin, but we're going to talk about 4 ways that you can earn Bitcoin. The first one is mining. You understand? You can mine. There are very many people that do mine Bitcoin, but mining is very expensive because Bitcoin needs big machines and a lot of expense. It takes a lot of electricity. So if you're someone who has a lot of money, you can just go to the internet, check about how much you need to start mining Bitcoin. You can start mining Bitcoin and you start making those hashes that are going to be earning you Bitcoin. The second thing that we really want to talk about, and it's what we are going to be doing in the crypto trading bootcamp. Here we are going to be doing what we call trading. Now you have to know how to trade cryptocurrencies in order to benefit from trading cryptocurrencies, and that's what we are going to be learning about. And then the third thing that you can use to earn Bitcoin is actually investing. Now we're going to also talk about investing in Bitcoin. How can you be invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies? We are going to be doing it right over here. We are also going to be talking about the third one, which is accepting Bitcoin as a payment. So accept Bitcoin as a payment is like when you have your own business and you want to accept Bitcoin as a payment, just like so many other businesses that accept Bitcoin as payment. We also accept Bitcoin as payment for those who really want to work with us. We accept Bitcoin because we know what Bitcoin is. So you too, when you have a business or you're dealing with someone who is abroad or anywhere in your and not in your country, don't bother yourself. The easiest way to pay is through Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. So you can accept payment when you have done some for someone a job or you are selling your service. You can accept payment using Bitcoin, or else you can do trading or investing. So in this bootcamp, we are really in the next subsequent classes and the next subsequent, we are going to be seeing how you can engage yourself in investing in Bitcoin and then trading Bitcoin. That's what we are going to really try to look at, because each and everyone can do investing or trading in Bitcoin anywhere in the whole world, regardless of where your location is. This has been today's class. Thank you so much for getting into the class. Let me see you in the other subsequent classes where we are going to be also having so exciting lessons. See you, Marvin Jibril. See you in the next one.